Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Abdulkhakov from the Institute of Fundamental Medicine and Biology of Kazan Federal University. And first of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this conference for kind invitation to present the results of our study. And I would like to talk about the results of our study of biomarkers of exposure after switching from conventional cigarettes to tobacco heating system. So it was a study performed in 2016-17 by the order of the government of Russian Federation, and 60 healthy smoking volunteers were involved in this study. They were randomized into three groups. The first group, 30 volunteers, they were switched from conventional cigarettes to tobacco heating system. 15 volunteers, they continued smoking their conventional cigarettes, and in case of 15 smokers, they were suggested to quit smoking. So we analyzed the biomarkers in urine and blood. The level of mercapturic acids were evaluated in urine. However, carboxyhemoglobin, cotinine, and trans-hydroxycotinine, which are the metabolites of nicotine, were measured in blood. We assessed some safety parameters like CBC, urinalysis, blood biochemistry, EKG, some vital signs, and we used a few questionnaires for assessment of cough severity, frequency, and amount of sputum. So let's go on with the results that we got. So in terms of carboxyhemoglobin level, you can see that initially at day 0, that is the beginning of our clinical study, the levels of carboxyhemoglobin were almost the same in all three groups: conventional cigarettes, tobacco heating system, and smoking abstinence. However, starting from the day 1, you can see that the levels of carboxyhemoglobin in two groups, which are THS and smoking abstinence, they dropped and became significantly lower than in conventional cigarette groups. And the same tendency was observed during the whole clinical study. And at day 5, you can see that there was a significant difference between the level of carboxyhemoglobin in conventional cigarette group and tobacco heating system, and between conventional cigarette group and smoking abstinence. So moving to the level of mercapturic acids, 5 mercapturic acids were measured in urine, and their names, you can see their names on this slide. And if we look at the upper part of the slide, you can see that in case of conventional cigarettes, the levels of mercapturic acids at day 0 and day 5 were almost the same. However, in case of the group where volunteers has switched to tobacco heating system, we can see that there is a significant difference between the level of all 5 measured mercapturic acids between day 0 and day 5. And the same difference was found in smoking abstinence. Now, when we decided to measure the levels of mercapturic acids at day 0 and day 5 and compare them between three groups, we noticed that initially at day 0, the levels of mercapturic acids were almost the same in all three groups. However, at day 5, there was statistically significant difference between the level of mercapturic acids comparing conventional cigarette groups with smoking abstinence and conventional cigarette groups with tobacco heating system group. However, we didn't find any difference between these two groups, those who has switched to tobacco heating system and those who quit smoking. There were some metabolites, especially nicotine metabolites, cotinine and trans-hydroxycotinine, which were measured in plasma. So, and again, in case of conventional cigarette groups, we can see that the levels of both cotinine and trans-hydroxycotinine were almost the same at day 0 and day 6. However, in tobacco heating system group and smoking abstinence group, you can see the significant difference. And at day 6, we see that the level of cotinine and trans-hydroxycotinine was significantly lower than initial amount of this metabolite. So we have made following conclusions. First of all, according to clinical and laboratory assessment, general examination, vital signs, blood and urine analysis, we can make the conclusion of safety of tobacco heating system. And tobacco heating system use resulted in tendency to decrease decreasing the severity and frequency of cough, as well as decreasing the amount of sputum. In terms of metabolites, switching to tobacco heating system for 5 days leads to decrease of blood carboxyhemoglobin levels, which was comparable with smoking cessation for 5 days. Switching to THS leads to significant decrease of concentration or level of orthostatic mercapturic acids by day 5. And on day 5, mercapturic acids level in THS group didn't differ significantly from smoking abstinence group. However, was statistically lower than in the group of those volunteers who continued using conventional cigarettes. And plasma nicotine metabolites decreased significantly by day 6 in THS and smoking abstinence group. So according to the results of the clinical studies, we made a conclusion about reduced toxicity and reduced exposure to toxic substances in THS group comparing with conventional cigarette group. So I'd like to thank you for your attention.